Hello everyone, welcome to the Scream 7 Ghostface lore build video. Before we continue, I will give a final warning to those who haven't seen Scream 7 yet. Obviously, this video will contain major spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, I strongly suggest you go watch it first before coming back to watch this video. Anything from this moment onwards in the video will contain spoilers. Now, for the people who have seen Scream 7, I hope you all enjoyed the movie. I personally enjoyed it quite a fair bit, and I think it's getting rather overhated at the moment. The movie certainly isn't perfect, but I definitely don't think it's as bad as a lot of people are saying it is. It's certainly nowhere near as bad as all the redundant critics' scores on many sides are saying, but it's not like anyone actually pays any attention to critics' scores nowadays anyway. But anyways, let's get into the builds for today. So, because there are 3 Ghostface killers in Scream 7, I've decided to make 3 different builds. One based on each Ghostface. The first build here is based on Carl, who is by far the strongest Ghostface in the movie, and also unfortunately the one that died first midway through the movie, which was a nice twist that they've never done before in the franchise. So our first perk for Carl is going to be Fire Up. This is partially just because of Ghostface setting Stu's house on fire in the opening scene of the movie. I'm pretty sure it was actually Marco who carried out the attack in the opening scene of the movie, but either way I had to include Fire Up in one of these builds, and it matches well with Carl the most gameplay wise anyway, because he was stabbing through a wall easily with his knife while trying to kill Sidney and Tatum. And he was generally very strong and fast, so the increased break and vault speeds granted by Fire Up was a good fit for him in my opinion. For our second perk we have Rapid Brutality, which is yet again because Carl was very fast and strong. He put up a very good fight against Sidney and Mark at the same time, and he was dealing more damage to them than they were dealing to him, up until Gale exploded around the corner in her car and ran him over. Our third perk is going to be Enduring, and this is quite literally just because Carl was an absolute tank. He was getting hit over the head, kicked in the face, tackled into walls and onto the floor both inside and outside of the house by Mark, tanked a hit from Sidney to his head with some kind of fence post or a mailbox stand, if I remember correctly, while in the middle of fighting Mark, and this barely affected him at all. Heck, with all the punishment he was enduring already, I actually wouldn't have been surprised if he survived when Gale hit him with her car. And for our fourth perk, we are going to be leaning into the flavor text of Darkness Revealed with this one. Places once thought to be safe are perhaps the most dangerous. I picked this one because Carl ambushed Sidney, Mark and Tatum inside their own home by hiding in the attic to avoid being found by the police sweep, and then dropped down from the attic to spring his attack. For our add-ons, I just threw on Victims, Detailed Routine and Marked Map because they kind of tie into the scene where Carl ambushed Sidney, Mark and Tatum in their own home. He obviously would have been keeping an eye on the house, ready for an opportunity to sneak inside. Jessica also probably informed him of the layout of Sidney's house, as she was Sidney's neighbour and supposed friend. He also obviously foresaw where the police would check when they sweep the house and found the best possible hiding spot for his ambush as he could have done, because he hid in the attic and didn't get found. Now, the second build is based on Marco, who was the Ghostface behind all the AI, deepfake aspects of the movie designed to taunt Sidney and make her think that Stu Marco was still alive and had returned to torment her. Heck, I personally think that at least one of the calls that Sidney got in this movie was actually Stu, but I won't delve into that. Anyways, getting into the build for Marco, our first perk is going to be Dark Devotion, which is mainly just to simulate the feeling of shock, deception, misdirection, and the red herring effect of Ghostface trying to make Sidney believe that Stu was somehow still alive and coming for her and her family. For the second perk, I decided to go with Mindbreaker for similar reasons. Marco's main act as Ghostface in the movie was just to screw with Sidney mentally by making her believe Stu was alive, so I think Mindbreaker is a pretty solid choice, albeit, quite on the nose. For our third perk, I decided to run Machine Learning, once again just leaning into the technological aspect, as Marco was the one behind all the AI. And for our fourth perk, I went with Batteries Included, once again just due to Marco being the tech guy operating the AI and deepfakes. For the add-ons on Marco, I honestly wasn't too sure what to pick, so I just slapped on Driver's License and Drop Leg Knife Sheath because I thought they synergized pretty well with the rest of the build, and they also just so happened to be some of Ghostface's best add-ons. Now for the third and final build, based on Jessica, who was the main Ghostface at the end of the movie, our first perk is going to be Starstruck, because she was a big fan of Sidney until the events of the movie, and viewed her as an inspiration originally. In fact, her entire motive pretty much revolves around the fact that she was pissed off at Sidney for going into hiding in Scream 6 instead of going to New York and going on the offensive to help fight the Ghostfaces of that movie. For our second perk on Jessica, I decided to run Deathbound, playing into the flavor text with this one. Those whose lives are intertwined in darkness are destined to suffer together, which I decided to pick because both Jessica and Sidney have been victims of trauma in their lives, and Jessica obviously felt inspired by Sidney being a fighter, and she initially related to Sidney, which is actually what she said influenced her to kill her abusive husband in the first place. And for the third perk, I decided to go with Rancor, primarily just due to how obsessed Jessica was with Sidney. She's an absolute fucking nutcase. And for the fourth perk, I decided to throw on Hex Nothing But Misery, again playing into the flavor text. You've been driven to the absolute depths of pain, and now you're ready to inflict that pain on others. And I went with this one because of how she said she was abused by her ex-husband for a long time before she finally felt inspired enough by Sydney to fight back, and so she killed her husband and got away with the murder. Plus she is now deciding to inflict pain on others regardless of whether they deserve it or not, obviously because she has become a Ghostface. For Jessica's add-ons, I decided to throw on outdoor security camera and victim's detailed routine just because she would know everything about Sydney's routine as her supposed friend and next door neighbor. Plus I wouldn't be surprised if she had some kind of hidden surveillance or camera on her property pointed at Sydney's house to make it easier for her to keep tabs on her whereabouts. Right, now that we've got the build breakdowns out of the way, I will let you all get on to the matches. I hope you all enjoy.
do it.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on Scream 7 in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of the builds. Let me know what perks you would run in your lore-accurate Scream 7 Ghostface builds. Leave a like and please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. I will catch you all next time. Stay safe, take care, and remember what Uncle Randy taught you.
Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back.
What the fuck?